I'd like to welcome you to our Tuesday, July 11th meeting, and with that, if you would all like to stand and we'll say the pledge of allegiance, and we will also after have 10 seconds of silence, okay? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please stand for 10 seconds and remember Jude Bond, our vice mayor. He's having surgery. Thank you. You may be seated. Lauren, would you like to call the roll?
Commissioner Oscar?
Here.
Commissioner McCall?
Absent.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Here.
Vice Mayor Bond?
Absent.
Mayor Kennedy?
Here. Two things before we start our meeting. The discussion on paid parking is rescheduled for September 12th. Obviously, we are down 2 people tonight, so that's a very important issue. We want to make sure that everybody's here for that. And BOA case number 2023-03, First Street, withdrawn by the applicant. With that, we are going to start with our Pinellas Sheriff's Department. If you'd like to come forward and give your report. And the report is also online for anyone who would like to see it.
Good evening, I'm Corporal May with the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. Just going to brief you guys on our deputy activity. We had a total of 295 traffic stops, 160 directed patrols consisted of making contact with suspicious vehicles or persons, assisting citizens as well. A total of 19 arrests were made in the month of May, varying from felonies and misdemeanors consisting of batteries, domestic batteries, and disorderly conduct, breach of the peace. There was also a 2 warrant arrests as well as a DUI arrest on there. For crash activity, we had 4 crashes in the city during the month of May, consisting of Gulf Boulevard, 110 Gulf Boulevard, 1700 Gulf Boulevard, and 213 Gulf Boulevard. Nothing major. And that's pretty much all I have for that. You guys have any questions?
Does anyone have any questions tonight? No.
No? Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will move on to the report of Pinellas Suncoast Fire and Rescue. Chief Jeff, would you like to do your report?
Yes.
I always tell everyone when we have an audience that the sheriff comes in 15 minutes before the meeting, and if anyone would like to talk to one of the sheriffs privately, you're more than welcome to, starting at 5:45.
Good evening. Giving you the monthly report for June 2023, there were 80 calls for service in Indian Rocks Beach. 61 of those were medical related, with 19 fire related calls. Training hours for the year, so far this year we have 7,570 training hours for our firefighters, EMTs and paramedics. Our fire safety inspections, we've had 67 public educations with 93 annual inspections in June and 32 re-inspections in June. And we're going to be starting our vacation or short-term rental life safety inspections in the very near future. We're working with the city to make things as easy as possible for the owners as far as registration. And that process, there'll be some preliminary information that we're going to put out in the next couple of weeks via our website, on Facebook, some letters to the city that they could share for us so that we can answer any questions that anybody might have on that. We are still working on obtaining additional EMS funding from the county so that we can add a unit to the northern end of Indian Rocks Beach. That's still our plan, and we're moving forward with that. We have a few more meetings set up, and probably in August we're going to be adding a light marine unit, which is a jet ski and a sled that's beach launchable, so that we have the busiest marine units in the entire county. And we have our fireboat that's on the intercoastal, And we have a beach launchable vessel that goes throughout the county. But we're gonna add a light marine unit, which is a jet ski with a sled that we'd be able to rescue victims on in there. So we have one at each of the 2 stations that are on the beach. So that should happen in August. We've had about 150 water rescues last year, so we're pretty busy in that regard. And then lastly, this Saturday, July 15th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is our first, they're doing a very nice event for dogs, or animals, pets, and it's their first annual dog wash and calendar event. So you can bring your family, bring your pets. There'll be all kinds of food and vendors and games, and take pictures with your dogs, take pictures with the firefighters. And I guess the intention is, what they tell me, is to make a dog calendar for the future. So that's going to be a nice event. It's hosted at the fire station at 304 First Street, and with our partners right next door, we're going to be utilizing the parking lot of L2C's. So we thank them for that opportunity as well.
So what time does that start? Because Luna's first in line, just letting you know up front.
Because what?
Luna will be first in line. I have a big shepherd.
Oh, this is a shepherd-free dog event?
Oh, no, we're not.
All right, so that's 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
10 a.m., okay.
this Saturday. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, I have a question.
Okay.
Did you, or did Doug finish the checklist for the fire safety inspections?
Yes. He's actually reviewing that one more time before we put it on the website. We're going through some tests with that to make sure on the website that it works properly.
Okay.
And be able to share that information. And then there's going to be a very simple registration process. And of course, this is the inaugural year of doing those life safety inspections. So we're going to learn through it, but our goal is to make it as easy as possible for the owners of those buildings, and making sure that we accomplish our goal of keeping the life safety a #1 priority.
Okay.
Jude, anything?
You meant
Jude?
Land.
I mean, Lance. I'm like, I wonder, why isn't he looking at me? Any question?
No, ma'am.
Craig, just so that we are able to tell the residents when the life safety inspections are gonna start, you'll let us know too, or they'll be on the website?
Yes.
Okay, all right, perfect. Thank you, Chief Jeff.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to go to public comments, which is 3 minutes. Any member of the audience may come forward, give their name and address, and state any comment or concern they may have regarding any matter over which the City Commission has control, excluding agenda items. All statements made to the City Commission shall be made to the City Commission as a whole and not directed to any individual City Commission member. And no personal or slanderous remarks shall be permitted. No speakers shall be interrupted, and no debate shall occur between the speaker and the City Commission. Is there anyone who would like to come forward at this time? I was going to say, John, don't you want to come forward?
I missed the meeting. I missed you guys. John Fansteel, 448 Harbor Drive South. I want to say that there are many residents who very much appreciated the work the commission did on the new short-term regulations. But as our mayor said, they're going to be challenged again, almost certainly, this legislative session. We're going to have to continually fight for this. We appreciate that our mayor and our city manager went to Tallahassee, but we need more than that. It's well known that the legislators in Tallahassee intentionally took power away from you, and they expect you to do it. What they need to care about is voters, and we need a lobbyist. So I strongly suggest that you hire a lobbyist. We have the Florida League of Cities. They were totally useless. They didn't do anything. They have too many things on their plate. So we need to hire a lobbyist, and we need to hire them this summer, because they're going to start working on this legislation to take away your regulations in the fall and winter. And it's so much easier, as everybody knows, to get it changed before it's on paper and before it makes it to the floor. For those of us that watched what was going on in Tallahassee and seeing people talk to the legislators, it was pretty clear that they don't care about, in my opinion, right or wrong. They certainly don't care about what's going on in our neighborhoods. So, sorry, I just saw the clock up here, new change here. Is that at 2:11 already? My goodness. Okay, anyways, so there's something in addition that you can do quickly and efficiently, and that is put a referendum on the ballot. It'll cost almost nothing. It will not stand up legally, it's not supposed to, but it will show the people in Tallahassee that residents are strongly against short-term rentals. Something to be written says simply as, should transient lodging, short-term rental businesses be allowed in neighborhood zone residential, yes or no? This would unequivocally show them that the voters are against this. So those two things we need to do to protect the good work that you've already done. Most of you don't live, I don't think, well, actually one of you lives in an area that's affected by short-term rentals. And I'd like to say, to let you know, this problem is not going away even after regulations. In my neighborhood, one house, a big 3-story, just got converted to short-term rentals on Harbor Drive South. Right next to it is a neighbor we've known for 25 years. She's now surrounded by 2 giant short-term rental hotels. And there's one across the street, again, big short-term rental, and one at the end of the cul-de-sac. This used to be a friendly, quiet neighborhood, but now it's not suitable for a widow, for a senior widow, and she's selling her house. And another house I just heard about that's going, there's a gentleman that came here and talked to the commission, and he mentioned how his children were, young children were fearful all the time because there's profanity and loud yelling and shouting all time of the night. He's put up with for 2 years, and now he's selling. So this is an ongoing thing. The commission created it, and I'm hoping the current commission will take some strong action to get our neighborhoods back to keep this construction from happening, which will require some money, but what better thing to spend it on than protecting the home life of our residents. So I look forward to some positive actions. Can't miss that.
Thank you, John.
Thanks.
Is there anyone else who'd like to come forward at this time? Hearing none, we're gonna, oh. Hi.
Hi. My name is Tom Wilson. I live at 444 Harbor Drive South.
Hi.
Hi. I'm just going to say I want to thank Denise Hausberg for her work talking to the realtors and explaining what was going on. I watched a little bit on the Zoom when I was stuck down Spectrum doing something, and it was very well done. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's like going into the lion's den. And the other thing I want to say, and I've said it before, when you get the sanitation department, and thumbs up. They have a hard job, and they do a really good job. The workers here still are doing it. That's really about it. I want to say. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to come up? Hearing none, I'm going to close the public comment, and I'm going to look for a report. As our stand-in city attorney tonight, Tom, do you have any comments or any questions or?
Andy's on vacation, and I'm in here trying to cover his position, so I'm here to answer any questions that you have, but I have no report to issue.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Tom Trask tonight? Come on, think of something.
Well, Randy, per the last meeting, we had a consensus on several questions dealing with STR, Madam Mayor,
Okay.
and how we were going to address some historic documents dealing with also the support of hiring people to talk to the legislature, et cetera. And Randy actually called me, and I believe he called all of the other commissioners, kind of informing us, giving us information and all that. Can we defer that, his report for the next session?
Yes, since Tom doesn't have it, obviously, we're going to defer it, so.
I just want to make sure that it stays
Yeah.
on the record.
Yes, okay, perfect. Greg, did you want to add anything to that?
No.
Okay. If there aren't any questions for Tom, then Greg, our city manager, do you have any?
I do.
Okay.
Good evening.
Code enforcement report, there were 93 parking citations written, 2 courtesy letters sent, 21 violation letters, 4 notices to appear, 12 vacation rental inspections, they all passed. A few days ago, I released the city manager's proposed budget. Next week, Dan and I will meet each of the commissioners and go over the proposed budget in detail. The first public meeting on the budget is July the 25th. It's a work session from 4 to 6. And then there's 2 public hearings, one on September the 6th, and one on September the 20th, that will finalize the budget process. I sent y'all an email, but just to let the public know, after 2 years of waiting, we finally received a new garbage truck, and we replaced the bucket truck that we have with the city. So those were received actually the same week. The vacation rental ordinance application, the updated map, all that information now has been uploaded on the website, and we obviously are beginning to receive messages and phone calls about that. And we'll continue to work our way through that process. In this year's budget, there was money allocated for a piece of adaptive playground equipment, particularly for children or individuals with disabilities. That'll be installed the last week of this month. In the proposed city manager budget, there's more adaptive playground equipment that we'd like to add to our parks. And I don't normally do this every month, but we haven't done this in a while. I'll just give you an update on the library. There's 1,976 members. There's a book club that has averaged about 65 adults in different meetings throughout the book clubs. We have summer programs, and there's been about 18 kids that regularly attend the children's programming. And then, probably as important as anything else, there's been 10 active volunteers in the library that contributed over 40 hours of volunteer time to the library. And as y'all know, if we didn't have the volunteers, we'd have a whole different library budget because we had to budget for the help. So I want to publicly thank the Friends of the Library again for their help. And the door count, which is really amazing for our little library for the month, was 1,064 people that came through the door in June. So just to give you an update. And the last personal comment I'll make is that time flies. In a week or so will be my 10th year with the city, and I'm proud of different commissioners, and there's a couple of commissioners that used to be on the board that are here. And on behalf of Michelle and I want to thank y'all for the privilege to serve in this position. I think we've gotten a lot of good things done. I look forward to the future and look forward to working with this commission, other commissions, the P&Z, the Board of Adjustment, and with the great staff that we have. You know, we've worked real hard over the past few years to really reorganize the city team, to eliminate a lot of friction, provide better customer service. And I think most people recognize when they come to City Hall now there's a whole different feel and atmosphere and better customer service. So on behalf of Michelle and I, thank you for the time. I look forward to the future, and always open to any ideas, suggestions, and constructive criticism that you have, and believe I've received those from everyone, including the public. But this is part of the deal, but I seriously thank you for the time being here.
Thank you, Fred.
I feel like that deserves an applause.
There you go.
10 years.
Yeah.
Thank you for serving, Greg, especially under the gauntlet of what I've seen over the last couple of years. I didn't really have
You know, 10 years in parking and short-term rentals, I mean, it's aged you, Greg, a little bit. Poor guy. Because you're like 10 years younger than me, I think, so.
I can provide you a list of things later that have aged me, and this is not really on the top of that list, but
Okay.
we'll talk about that later.
All right, thanks, Greg.
Are you done? I'm done. So I was in the group, in fact, I'm the only one left that was in the group that hired Greg. And he has been awesome. Every year I bring him a big bottle of his favorite alcohol because I said, you probably need this and it'll be gone in I don't know how long, but I will give it to you on the 25th. And I remembered it as I was sitting here before you said anything that July is your anniversary. I have had the privilege of serving under 3 city managers, all who were wonderful. And in between, we had some that were not so great. But I can assure you that Greg, his talent as far as, he's a multitask guy. He can do things like planning. He talks to the public. He doesn't mince words. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes people don't like that. He's good with our business people. He's great with the commission, and he's always very level headed about his ideas and our ideas too. I appreciate him. His wife has been such a wonderful addition too, and they lived in Indian Rocks Beach for a long time, and I didn't like when they bought a house because they moved to Bel Air, but that was his privilege. And I hope that you're here for many, many years to come, because the city has really benefited from your expertise. And are you at 35, 40 years? You
No.
started in 1980.
In 40 plus.
40 plus years that he's been in government. So I appreciate you, and I know that the city has appreciated you being our city manager, so thank you.
Thank you.
The couple other things, it's funny how you hear about the fireworks. I had one person tell me that it was the least amount of fireworks and it was just wonderful and things were great. And then I had another person tell me that we should just throw the ordinance away because nobody's enforcing it. And they both lived on the same street, so I couldn't figure out what to do. But it is how a person perceives things many times that, I know in my area, I heard 2 fireworks and then we didn't hear any after that. I was told the beach was relatively clean. And so I think it was a good 4th of July, and that the enforcement worked well. With that, we will move on to additions and deletions. Do we have any? Except for the ones I've already mentioned. And we'll move on to the 5A consent agenda. Tom, would you like to read the consent agenda?
Sure. The consent agenda, item number A, approval of the May 9, 2023 regular city commission meeting minutes. Item number B, authorizing the city manager to sign the 1-year agreement to renew group health coverage with Public Risk Management PRM Group Health Trust for fiscal year 2023 through 2024. That was a reading of the consent agenda.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I would like to make a motion to accept the consent agenda, Madam Mayor.
And is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Would you like to take the roll, Lauren?
Sure. Commissioner Husper,
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn,
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes. Motion carries. We will move on now to public hearing 6A. This is ABT 19-2023. It's a quasi-judicial proceeding for 1401 Gulf Boulevard, Indian Rocks Beach Cafe, Deli and Market. Tom, if you would like to read this?
Yeah, I'd be happy to, but let me go over the quasi-judicial procedures first that we're going to use at this meeting. This is a quasi-judicial proceeding where the city commission acts in a quasi-judicial rather than a legislative capacity. At this quasi-judicial hearing, it's not the board's function to make law, but rather to apply law that has already been established. In this hearing, the board is required by law to make findings of fact based upon the evidence presented at the hearing and apply those findings of fact to previously established criteria contained in the Code of Ordinances in order to make a legal decision regarding the application before it. The board may only consider the evidence at this hearing if the law considers competent, substantial, and relevant to the issues. If the competent, substantial, relevant evidence at this hearing demonstrates the applicant has met the criteria established in the Code of Ordinances, then the board is required by law to find in favor of the applicant. By the same token, if the competent, substantial, and relevant evidence at the hearing demonstrates the applicant has failed to meet the criteria established in the Code, then the board is required by law to find against the applicant. Before I go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and read this agenda item number A, 6A. This is ABT 19-2023, quasi-judicial proceeding for 1401 Gulf Boulevard, Indian Rocks Cafe, Deli and Market, considering the 2 COP alcoholic beverage use designation, that's beer, wine, and liquor, by the drink or in sealed containers for consumption on or off premises where sold for Indian Rocks Cafe Inc., DBA Indian Rocks Cafe, Deli and Market, located at 1401 Gulf Boulevard, Suite 5, 6, and 7, Indian Rocks Beach, Florida, and legally described as Indian Beach Revised, Block 29, Lots 1, 2, and 3. With that being said, I need to ask the Commission whether or not there's been any ex parte communications or conflicts of interest that needed to be disclosed.
No.
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 Okay, thank you. So at this point, anyone that's going to speak on this agenda item, if you could stand up and raise your right hand, I need to swear you under oath. Anyone that's going to speak, including the city clerk? You swear that the testimony you're about to give is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay, thank you. So now it would be time for city staff to make a presentation.
And I'll have you sit down, we'll bring you back up. Go ahead.
So Mr. Jeff Tacey has requested a 2-COP alcohol. Let me start that again. Mr. Jeff Tacey has requested a 2-COP alcohol beverage designation application, which is beer, wine, and liquor, by the drink or in sealed containers for consumption on or off the premises or sold, located at 1401 Gulf Boulevard. Indian Rocks Cafe is in the Sunrise Gallery Shopping Center located in the business district. The surrounding zoning is business to the north and south, R2 medium density multifamily zoning district to the east, and commercial tours on the west side of Gulf Boulevard at 1401. The planning consultant and the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office has signed off on the application. A public notice was mailed and a legal notice was published. The city has updated the motion on this application and the next 2 that I'll be reading. The city staff recommends approval with the stipulation that repeated or intermittent nuisance activity and or unlawful noise levels originating from the establishment or parking area may result in the revocation of the alcoholic beverage designation.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Lauren before I bring up the applicant?
No.
Please state your name and your address.
Jeff Tacey, and I reside at 716 Gulf Boulevard, Indian Rocks Beach.
Hi, Jeff.
Hello. Good
You
evening.
want to tell us a little bit about your application and?
Sure.
Okay.
Probably most of you know that we recently acquired the old Surfside Produce Market, that we expanded the cafe into now the Boar's Head Deli and Market. Prior to the expansion, we wouldn't really have had any reason for a beer or wine license. Now that we're doing pretty much like grocery store type setup, it would make a lot of sense for us to offer up a really nice environment for people to be able to purchase beer and wine. The closest retail to us would be like USA Grocery, which is fine. We just have a very different feel and philosophy about business that I think is more in line with the residents of the island and the people that are spending big money to come here and stay at our beautiful beach. The intention is, the cafe is only open until 2 o'clock every day. The market stays open until 6 o'clock. We're not gonna serve any alcohol at all. It's all gonna be retail out of like the coolers and the cases, but the 2-COP does give them the option that if they bought like a 6-pack of beer, they could actually sit down and crack a beer. But we're really not ever gonna serve anything. We don't really have the space or the setup for it, and probably never will. But that's pretty much like the scope of what we're asking for.
Jeff, it says liquor here too. Are you also going to have liquor?
Well, actually, we have an agreement with the landlord that I think Lauren did get a copy of that, our landlord is 2 sisters, and we kind of went through this with them. They're not much into alcohol, so we have an agreement with them per an addendum to our lease that we can do the liquor that's like Groupers does and a lot of the other places that don't have full liquor license, so it would be capped out at like a 13% alcohol percentage. And we were perfectly happy with that. I mean, it's not a big deal.
Lan, Denise, do you have any questions for Jeff?
No.
Well, you guys are gonna keep your same hours, right?
Yes.
You're not gonna be open later in the evening or anything?
Not at all.
And all your liquor sales are gonna be sold off, just a cart away from there?
Right, correct, yeah, like we'll bag it and everything. But again, like I said, if they wanted to buy like a sandwich before 2 o'clock, cause at 2 o'clock we shut the cafe down. We don't make any like sandwiches, smoothies, none of that. So, you know, in theory, they could get a 6-pack and sit down and drink it at 5 o'clock in the evening. I don't know how likely that is. Most people don't stick around very long.
Right.
You know, they're in a hurry to get to the beach or, you know.
That's all I have.
Lauren, do you want to add anything, Jeff?
No.
I'm gonna have you sit, and then we're gonna ask for public comment, and then I'll bring you back up.
Thank you.
At this time, I'm gonna open the public comment. Is there anyone who would like to speak on this agenda item? Okay, hearing none, I'm gonna close the public comment. Jeff, do you have any added information that you would like to give us, or are you?
Not really, other than we're really happy to be here and we love this community and we appreciate the work that you all do and we're excited to be able to offer this service really to the community. It's gonna be beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lauren, was there any opposed that you heard from?
I did.
Just one that I see.
Groupers did oppose it.
Just so that we have it on record. Yes, Greg?
Well, what's that? I was, you know, I read the groupers correspondence, and they made reference to distance requirements or limitations between businesses that
Correct.
serve alcohol. We don't have that.
I know that.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah. Lan, do you want to say anything, or?
Well, I think what I see is I see Groupers as a restaurant that is serving alcohol. And from all intensive purposes, y'all are asking for a COP in a retail environment so people can take it home for consumption, although you're very careful in that reference that they could. Am I correct in that assumption?
Yes, that's exactly what the 2 COP is that it's for us primarily as just a retail purchase bag taped off premises. But it does allow that if somebody did purchase a sandwich or something, they could sit down and have like a beer or a glass of wine or something there.
So ideally, if somebody goes grocery shopping, they're not gonna have to leave the island to perhaps get their favorite beverage.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna have you sit down.
Thank you.
We were just receiving comments from the commission.
Right, right.
Okay.
That's okay, that's okay. Any questions?
No.
Denise? Okay, is there a motion to be made on this?
I'll make a motion to approve ABT 19-2023.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, just want to make sure that there were conditions that were requested in the motion, the recommended motion. Did you want to include those conditions as well? And specifically, the condition was repeated or intermittent nuisance activity and or unlawful noise levels originating from the establishment or the parking area may result in the revocation of the alcoholic beverage designation. Did you want to include that in your motion?
Yes.
And you're okay with the second, with that?
Yes.
Okay. Lauren, would you like to call the roll?
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Commissioner Bond.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes, thank you. Motion carries. Good luck. We will move on now to 6B, ABT 20-2023, quasi-judicial proceedings, 409 Gulf Boulevard, Savor the Moment Catering. Tom, would you like to read this?
So the same rules that I had read earlier are going to apply in this particular application. It is a quasi-judicial proceeding, so I'm not going to read those in its entirety again. I would have a question for the commission whether or not there are any ex parte communications or conflicts of interest that needed to be disclosed?
No.
Thank you. So, this agenda item is considering a 13 CT alcoholic beverage use designation by the drink for consumption on the premises only of any catered event at which the licensee is providing prepared food for Big Claw Catering LLC, DBA Savor the Moment Catering, located at 409 Gulf Boulevard, Indian Rocks Beach, Florida, and legally described as Indian Beach Revised Block 8, lots 5 and 6, less road right-of-way on the west, and lots 7 through 10, and lot 11 and 12 less road right-of-way on the south, and lots 13 through 20. At this point, I need to swear in any witnesses. City clerk's already been sworn in. Is the applicant here today?
Yeah.
Okay. Sir, if you could raise your right hand, I'm going to swear you're under oath. Swear the testimony you're about to give is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You can be seated for a few minutes, and the city clerk will proceed.
So Matthew Loader Sr. has requested a 13 CT alcoholic beverage use designation that's by the drink for consumption on the premises only of any catered event at which the licensee is providing prepared food. It's for Big Claw Catering LLC, doing business as Savor the Moment Catering, located at 409 Gulf Boulevard. The surrounding zoning is business to the north, south, and east, with commercial tours on the west side of Gulf Boulevard. The planning consultant and the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office is signed off on the application. A public notice was mailed and legal notices was published. Once again, the city has updated the motion on this application to read. The city staff recommends approval with the stipulation that repeated or intermittent nuisance activity and or unlawful noise levels originating from the establishment or parking area may result in the revocation of the alcoholic beverage designation.
At this time, does anyone have any questions? If not, I'll bring Matt up, and if you have questions then. Is that okay with everybody? Okay. Matt, if you'd like to come forward.
Hello.
Hi.
I was taken with all the very kind things that were said about Greg earlier.
First of all, what's your name?
Matthew Loader.
Okay. And where do you live?
And I was happy to be able to say that I agree with most of those things. I hope you're okay, because all these very nice things that are being said about you, I was worried there was something.
I'm okay.
Okay. Yeah, so this is a liquor license necessary for us to do our catering out of that building.
So, and this is, this part of it is to do the catering and have the alcohol off-site.
Mostly, yeah.
Okay.
And we actually, this C, we need the approval
Right.
for C to be able to get the B license. So because of alcohol, beverage, and tobacco, we need to have both.
But this one specifically is for the catering off-site.
Yes.
So should we be doing C before B?
You could do one after the other. They're on the agenda to be first.
There we go.
All right, does anyone have any questions for Matt? No. Say anything else?
We enjoyed being here, and nice to see you all. You all have very nice.
Matt just had a birthday too.
Yes, thank you for reminding me.
Okay, with that, I'm going to open the public comment. Is there anyone who would like to speak on this agenda item?
Hello again, John Mansfield, 448 Cover Trust Town.
I think does he need to be sworn
He
in?
does need to be sworn in. Sir, you have not been sworn in, so you swear that the testimony you're about to give is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Matt and his family have done so much for this community. I'm completely for this, and I hope it helps him. It'll be another wonderful business that he's brought to our area. So that's it.
Thank you, John. Anyone else who'd like to speak on this agenda item? Hearing none, I'm going to close the public comment. Did you have anything else that you want to say, Matt, before I close it?
No.
Okay, I'll close the public comment. At this time, is there any comments from the commission, or I'm looking for a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept ABT 2023 quasi-judicial procedure for 409 Gulf Boulevard, Savor the Moment Catering.
And you will add the
Condition.
conditions?
And add the condition.
And I just want to clarify the condition for the record then, for anyone watching this. The condition is repeated or intermittent nuisance activity and or unlawful noise levels originating from the establishment or the parking area may result in the revocation of the alcoholic beverage designation. You wanted that included in your motion, correct?
Yes.
I'll second that motion with all the other gobbledygook in it.
The conditions?
Yes, the conditions.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. With that, Lauren, would you like to call the roll?
Commissioner Husband,
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn,
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes, motion carries. Congratulations. With that, this is the second part of, this will C, agenda item 6, ABT 21-2023, another quadri judicial proceeding at 409 Gulf Boulevard, Savor the Moment Catering.
So does any member of the commission need to disclose any ex parte contacts or any conflicts of interest?
No.
Okay, I'll go ahead and read this agenda item then. Considering a 4-COP SFS alcoholic beverage use designation, that's beer, wine, and liquor, by the drink or in sealed containers for consumption on or off premises where sold, for Big Claw Catering, LLC, DBA Savor the Moment Catering, located at 409 Gulf Boulevard, Indian Rocks Beach, Florida, and legally described as Indian Beach, re-revised, Block 8, Lots 5 and 6, less road right-of-way on west, and Lots 7 through 10, Lot 11 and 12, less road right-of-way on south, and Lots 13 through 20. And now would be the time for the city clerk to make her presentation.
So I feel a little repetitive, but, so Matthew Loader Senior has requested a 4-COP SFS alcoholic beverage use designation. It's beer, wine, liquor by the drink or in sealed containers for the consumption on or off premises where sold, for Big Claw Catering, LLC, doing business as Savor the Moment Catering, located at 409 Gulf Boulevard. The surrounding zoning is business to the north, south, and east, with commercial tours on the west side of Gulf Boulevard. The planning consultant and Pinellas County Sheriff's Office has signed off on the application. The city has updated the motion on this application to read: the city staff recommends approval with the stipulation that repeated or intermittent nuisance activity and or unlawful noise levels originating from the establishment or parking area may result in the revocation of the alcoholic beverage designation.
Anyone have any questions, Lan or Denise, for Lauren at this time?
I do not.
I do not.
Perfect, okay. Matt, would you like to come up again?
Basically, it's just a necessity to have the one license to be able to get the other license with the
Catering, offsite, and
requirements,
also
yeah.
to get for the
Yep.
building. Okay, all right, if you want to have a seat, and then I'll go to public comment. Is there anyone on this agenda item who'd like to speak? Hearing none, I'll close the public comment. Anything else you'd like to say, Matt?
No, I just wanted to thank you for not mentioning my birthday again.
With that, I'm looking for any comments from the commission or a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve ABT 21-2023 quasi judicial proceeding, 409 Gulf Boulevard, Savor the Moment Catering, along with the other conditions previously mentioned.
Great. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion with conditions.
Perfect. Any comments before we go to roll call?
No.
Lauren, would you like to call the roll?
Commissioner Husband,
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn,
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes, motion carries. Good luck. Sounds awesome. Thank you for coming in tonight. With that, our agenda item D, BOA case number 2023-03 has been withdrawn. We move on to other legislative matters, which we do not have tonight. Thank you, Chip Jacobson, for coming in, and don't forget, everyone bring your dog on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock to get washed. We have our work session item has also been pulled. It will be back on September 12th. It is a paid parking program that we're going to be discussing. And then our other business, Greg, I'm going to hand it over to you. It is concerning our city clerk vacancy.
All right, thank you, Mayor. On June the 7th, the city commission unanimously appointed Lauren as our interim city clerk. We also authorized the city manager and myself to work with the mayor and the city attorney to update the job description. We posted the position on June the 9th, and we closed it on June the 30th. We received, including Lauren's application, we received 4 applications. Yesterday, after taking a few days to look at the applications, I forwarded to the commission an email, and I'll just read it for the record. Good morning. As you know, the discussion of the city clerk position is on tomorrow night's city commission agenda item number 9. Detailed information concerning the applicants, code and charter provisions were included in the agenda packet. After a detailed review of the applicants and their qualifications, the following is offered. As your city manager, I recommend that the commission offer the position of city clerk to Lauren and authorize the city attorney and city manager to negotiate an employment agreement. Further, I recommend that the starting salary is set at $75,000. If this course of action is approved by the commission, the negotiated employment agreement will be placed on the August 8th, 2023 IRB City Commission meeting for consideration for approval. And I would just, as part of my recommendation, I would just highlight the fact that I talked earlier about the decade that I've enjoyed working here. Lauren has been here, will be here 10 years in September. And one of the changes that we made through retirements and other methods were bringing in just a lot of talented people to work for the city. And Lauren has almost a decade now of experience working with every department, being involved with the previous city clerk on notices, on materials for city commission meetings, involved in elections. And as your city manager, I just have no doubt that if approved by the commission, Lauren will do a great job for us. She's done nothing but been a positive influence, and she's well respected by, I can sincerely say, all the employees for the city. And that's not to or not thank the other applicants that we have. Like any position that you post, depending on what the job is, you may get 5, you may get 500. Lauren is well qualified for the position. The only other applicant that was remotely qualified was an individual from out of state. Does not have the almost decade of knowledge that Lauren has about Florida rules and regulations and restrictions. But that's why I went ahead and made the recommendation that I did. But ultimately, it's up to the city commission to decide where you want to go with this. I will tell you that, just for the record, because they asked me to mention it to his fellow commissioners, I had opportunity yesterday. Joe McCall called me about an unrelated matter. He and I talked for a few minutes about the applicants and about Lauren, and he wanted me to put on the record for him that he supports the appointment of Lauren with the conditions of the process that I've laid out in the email that I sent y'all yesterday. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have or clear up anything I need to clear up.
Are there any questions for anyone on the commission concerning Laura and the job as city clerk?
I guess, now that we put a job out on the street, then we're just not gonna interview any of them in the list.
In the employment arena, just because you advertise a position, you're not obligated to interview anyone.
Right.
And the only other remotely qualified person, I think, is in New Jersey, which still does not have knowledge of Florida rules and regulations. So my recommendation would be no, that they're hopefully that's up to the commission.
Well, even if we were to hire someone other than Lauren, would it be the commission that actually does the interviewing process?
That would be dependent on whether you brought somebody in to interview or not.
Okay, well, should we interview Lauren?
It's not legally required.
Okay,
Would you like to interview her now?
Well,
Let you first.
well, I don't know that I'm prepared to interview her right now.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I briefly remember talking about the conditions that we were talking about bringing Lauren in on, should she be chosen. Could you share that with the commission now? Talking about certification, is there a certification process?
Yeah, the job announcements that we put out for the public was that the person that's appointed would be required to achieve the certification within a 3-year period, which is the standard throughout the state. And Lauren's already actively in that process, so I have no doubt she would achieve that. That would also be reflected in the employment agreement that we bring back to the commission. That would be stipulated in the employment agreement.
And there was a valid job description with everything that would be warranted? Who would Lauren report to? I think there was some confusion on my part. I didn't know if she reported to.
Yeah, I provided that in the package
commission
that you have, just to publicly go over it.
Mhm.
The commission appoints the city clerk.
Yeah.
The day-to-day supervision of the city clerk is my responsibility. Now, I would say one of the things that whoever you hire, that would be recommended in the employment agreement is that, the previous city clerk, it stated in there that the commission did the annual evaluation.
Yes.
And the commission members that I've served with were never comfortable with that, because the commission members don't have knowledge of day-to-day, don't have knowledge of attendance, and one of the things that would be in the employment agreement for whoever is appointed would be that I would propose that I would do the annual evaluation like I do for the other 23 employees that we have, and then that would be submitted annually to the commission for their review. But if you look at the agenda packet, it lays out my responsibility for day-to-day, and then it lays out the list of the city clerk responsibilities, and the commission as a whole, just like with my position, can assign tasks to the clerk, but just not on an individual basis. So that's how the charter and the code is set out for the city clerk.
Okay. So I've had the privilege of working with Lauren as in her other position. And in times of need, when our past city clerk needed help, Lauren was always there to lend a hand. That's not always easy when you have another job that you're supposed to be doing. And I welcome her. She has been very, very helpful to me as mayor since, Lauren, how long have you been in this position right now, as interim?
It's almost
A month now. And I can tell you that her experience already working in our city and taking over this position while she is working on the rest of the certifications and things that are needed is stellar. I'm very pleased with her, and I am hoping that the commission, with these applications, one of the things that was in one of the applications was, one of them wanted a fee of, it was quite high.
Yes.
So, I think this is a great starting point. I would like to see in the future, that the charter, every 10 years the charter comes up before the city, and I would like this position to actually be a part of the city manager, so that it removes us from the situation. She would still work with us, do the obligations that we need, but she would strictly work with Greg and the rest of the staff. And in the future, yes, sir.
One other thing that is important to highlight is that you know, one of the situations that we had with the previous clerk was that due to health, you know, legitimate health reasons, that the clerk was out for a year. And I'll just tell you, between the city attorney's firm and Lauren, we would not have been able to function in that city clerk capacity if somebody with Lauren's talents had not been here. So we went, you know, she may not have her certification, and most people don't, but she's been here almost a decade, and almost for a whole year, she helped us get through that period of time.
Greg, and I think my question was, it was more like she was getting it, she's halfway there.
Right.
Can I explain that?
May
Yeah.
Lauren speak?
So I actually signed up to get, I actually applied to get my certificate. I've been an associate member since 2018. The reason many people can't get the certificate right away is that you have to be actively acting as a city clerk. So I've been a member since 2018, paying my dues, taking classes, being a part of the clerk world, and but I can't get it until I'm actually a clerk. So it is a common thing. I have a lot of already, they go by points. I have all the points, so I'm sure that once I step in, it's going to be bada bing, I'm in.
And I think this is what, I believe you were kind of inquiring on an interview. We want to get to know you, we want to understand stuff like this, so thank you for sharing.
I'd like to add too that our previous city clerk had to do the same thing. You know, you have to be in the position, you have to accumulate the points, and take all of the necessary certifications. So I do want to, this isn't something, you know, our previous city clerk did this too.
Yes.
Well, is there anything else?
No.
No? Do we need to do this in a motion?
If the majority of the commission is okay with the recommendation I'm making, you'll need a motion for, and I'll just restate it. Authorizes the city manager and the city attorney to negotiate an employment agreement. Recommendation is to set the starting salary at $75,000, and then we would bring back the proposed employment agreement at the August 8, 2023 IRB City Commission meeting for the commission's approval consideration.
I have a question.
Yes.
Lauren, how do you pronounce your last name?
Smith. It's Cornichon.
Hornchen.
Okay.
Hey, Cookie, if I can,
Yes.
because we have another honorable elected official.
Yes, we do, her husband.
Tim, you'll stand up? Sure. I would ask Tim to tell some jokes, but his jokes are, I can do that. But I did want to acknowledge Tim.
Thank you, Greg, very much, and hello to everybody.
Good
Tim
to see you.
Korncheck, ready to beat Vice Mayor. And Lawrence.
Is there, what is the will of the commission?
I'll make a motion to approve Lauren.
Is there any
I'm
public
gonna
comment?
ruin it. Cornichon. Okay, did I say it right?
Yeah.
Is there any public comment on this?
City clerk vacancy.
Hold on.
Yes.
Okay, before we do this, I apologize, that was my fault. I'm going to open the public comment, and if anyone would like to come forward at this time, they may.
Hello yet again, John Van Steele, 448 Cover Drive South. I've had a little bit of time to work on a few things with Lauren, and I think she's terrifically qualified. And we'd be, if she gets chosen by you, I think the city would be very lucky. But on another point, the city clerk is a charter position. You, commissioners, are the only one who can choose her. You're the only one, I believe, who can set her salary, can do what you do. In our city government, there is a check. This is the only check and balance we have, is that we have a city manager chosen by you and a city clerk chosen by you. So you have to be careful. I will absolutely not water down that. And going to make sure that you have the city clerk in a position where she's not beholden to the city manager, that she can work independently and make decisions based on what she sees. So please do not dilute what is already currently here is for the best of the city. We have a wonderful city manager now, and hopefully we're gonna have a wonderful city clerk now, but you don't know what's gonna happen next year, and don't dilute our checks and balances in any way. Thank you.
That's all.
Thank you, John. Yes.
Let me just restate, the city commission appoints the city clerk with
Correct.
the listed duties that are in the city code. The city manager supervises the day-to-day actions of the city clerk. That's not anything new. So we need to know what the code and the charter says. So I don't want to put out there that somehow we're diluting anything because the code and the charter is what the code and the charter is. So that's what it is.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to come forward at this time? Hearing none, I'm going to close the public comment. Would you like to restate your motion?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to approve Lauren Kornichuk as our city clerk.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion to accept Greg's recommendation for Lauren Kay.
Okay, so the motion that was being requested of you was to authorize the city manager to negotiate an employment agreement with Lauren with a starting salary at $75,000. Did you want to include that in your motion as well? Because the city manager needs that direction.
I think it should be in there.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve that the city manager can get into an employment agreement with Lauren Kay as our new city clerk.
And her employment agreement will be
And
$75,000.
her employment agreement will be $75,000.
Is there anything else that you need in there?
No, I think that's sufficient. When the employment agreement comes back, it will include other things other than the salary, just so that you know. And those things are the things that are going to be negotiated between the city manager and the city attorney's office and Lauren. So hopefully that negotiated agreement will come back to you in its entirety for your discussion and consideration and approval at that August 8th meeting.
Is there a way that you would like it stated better than what Denise, or are you okay with it?
I'm okay with the motion as the way that it's constructed. I mean, it's just basically giving us direction to get this done.
Thank you. Lauren, can you call the roll?
Commissioner Hosper,
Yes.
Commissioner Bond,
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy,
Yes. Congratulations.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to have a picture with all of us, including the city manager, with Lauren come down here. Let's take a picture of our new city clerk.
Sure.
Here you go, down here, you should have given the photo. Yes, yes.
There, get in one.
Ready?
Yes, I need to get into it.
Yes.
Ready? There we go, take a couple.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Congratulations.
Good to see you, and I'll hug you.
Nice
Your
meeting
support.
you. Nice meeting you. Tim Corn.
Your husband's really cute.
My wife's right there.
Well, it has been a very enjoyable and interesting meeting tonight, and I appreciate all of you coming. And with that, I'm looking for someone to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming.